How's it going, bros?
How's it going, bros?
How's it going, bros?
How's it going, bros?
How's it going, bro? My name is PewDiePie. How's it going, bros? How's it going, bro?
Welcome to
My name is PewDiePie.
and welcome to
And welcome to.
He had a TV show, PewDiePie, the king of YouTube, the powerhouse of the entire site before Mr. Beast beasted everywhere. Did you guys know he had a show that was partnered with YouTube, an exclusive show that you had to pay YouTube Red to watch? A show so bad that apparently Forbes magazine said that it was terrible and they would rather watch that one Brazilian elevator prank over and over again. What the fuck are they talking about? Scare PewDiePie is a horror series that was produced by Maker Studios, now Disney Digital Network, and Skybound Entertainment, with Robert Kirkman serving as executive producer, and premiered on February 10th, 2016 to lukewarm reception by everyone besides PewDiePie fans. They ate this shit up. It was basically their Breaking Bad when it came to shows. And yes, that's Skybound Entertainment. The ones who made Invincible and all the thousands and thousands of Walking Dead shows, that's Skybound Entertainment. They made Scare PewDiePie, and if you look at all their shows with their ratings, Scare PewDiePie actually ranks above some of the Walking Dead shows, sitting at a solid number 16 out of... Wait, no, I sorted it wrong. It's actually number 1 when it came to their lowest ratings. With this being Skybound's worst show, you'd probably not expect it to have a season 2, but it did. Kind of. I'm gonna give you all the episodes. I'm gonna give you all my thoughts. I'm gonna give you the lore of what the fuck happened to this show. I'm gonna give you the behind the scenes, the very little that there is. I'm gonna tell you how people are still talking about it till this day, and how PewDiePie had a literal mental breakdown mid-shoot, and so much more. But first, I gotta give you a quick rundown of the show. PewDiePie is put in terrifying situations and sets inspired by his favorite survival horror video games he's previously played on his YouTube channel. He is joined by other YouTubers that I won't spoil, but some of them are genuinely surprising. You're gonna see Felix drown in green goo and die. You're gonna see him getting attacked by tiny people. You're going to see Felix become a crippled grandma with dementia. A lot of shit happens with some of these A-class actors. Actors that play memorable characters such as Jeff the security guard, David the producer, and Nikki the beloved love interest. You're going to want to keep your eyes open the entire time because missing a single second of this riveting plot will result in no brofist. You're going to endure boring episodes, but will also endure the best of the best in television that YouTube has to offer. But that doesn't matter. It's brofist time. Scare PewDiePie starts with probably the most awkward interaction, with Felix opening his door to the group that's going to get him on set.
So, alright. So she's gonna help us out. She's a PA, and
This is what happens when you make YouTube videos for 10 years. As they dump exposition on poor Felix, they tell him he's going to need to bring paperwork for the doctor that's going to give him a health checkup for the show, which is kind of weird because he's already in peak male gamer athlete health, but whatever.
how's it going, bros? My name is PewDiePie.
Oh my god.
Wait, I thought you guys were a team.
I'm on your team.
Okay.
Always. You're gonna be perfect.
Did I mention how awkward this show is? Just leave the poor guy alone, man. They soon reveal that the doctor they have for Mr. PewDiePie is actually just a fake setup, with him already participating in the show without his knowledge. They have this really cool system where they consistently track his heart rate, and going above the 145 threshold shuts down the entire act. And I'm assuming it's because Felix's gaming heart is just too weak to handle this super scary stuff. This gimmick conveniently never happens again in the show, which kind of sucks because it actually could have been kind of interesting. We then get the beginning of episode 1, Let's Play Doctor. And for a YouTube series, they actually have a believable set, kind of. They got fake doctors, patients, equipment. It actually looks like they put thought into this, besides the stupid-looking random brain scans in the neuro-ophthalmology room. So, good job, Mr. Eggman.
You're like a unicorn.
A unicorn. I like that.
You're my unicorn.
This is Nikki, and she's PewDiePie's #1 dick rider, and you're gonna see her appear a couple times in the show. But actually, Nikki was just dipping her toes into the water that is PewDiePie. She got his heartbeat up to a whopping 105. Personally, in this situation, as the nonchalant gamer that I am, my heartbeat would only be around maybe give or take 40 BPM. We got Felix getting ready for his checkup just for this cheap ass alarm sound to go off, signaling to code yellow, meaning someone entered a restricted area. Then some fucking weirdo comes in who's supposedly named Dr. Winters, and PewDiePie's heartbeat launches to 123. He's not just scared of girls. PewDiePie is scared of Big Pharma, ladies and gentlemen, which honestly I think is pretty reasonable.
Find my code. I'm Dr. Winters.
What's that?
Dr. Winters, how are you?
Good.
Good. All right, Just here for
Come on, PewDiePie, he's just a black guy. We're not that scary. I thought you were cool, man. This scene actually reveals that this man is the real Dr. Winters and the last guy is a fraud. That's a bit of an escalation. And of course, his natural reaction after seeing a demented Arkham Asylum escapee is to start vlogging. This is how YouTubers are wired. Last time I went outside, I started gunning people down thinking it was a GTA Let's Play. PewDiePie starts to record his banger vlog and he proceeds to take his psychological checkup.
Yes. I look like a devil. Head of a devil.
She's gonna keep swiping her little Google PowerPoint thing with Felix while he answers wrong every time somehow, and then out of nowhere, just shows him a little gremlin eating a brain. Yup. I'm scared, PewDiePie. Remember the psycho they arrested near the beginning of the episode? Somehow he's back and he's spraying this fucking ketchup packet around, and PewDiePie's all like, stop. And he keeps spraying. Then they reveal he's Swedish too, which honestly is pretty cool knowing PewDiePie's background. With only a language those two know, it could honestly make a pretty cool plot for this episode. And he got arrested again.
Nurses, back to your stations. Clear the hallway. Did you get any of this biohazard material on you?
No nurses speak like this, but this is LA, so I don't know. Maybe they always ask their patients about biohazardous materials. She claims that PewDiePie needs a chemical shower because his boogers were contaminated or something. So he gets under this little shower thing and gets sprayed, and I noticed that Felix just gets treated like a dog in this show, like through the entirety of it. He's been told to sit down like 5 times, and he doesn't say shit back.
Alright, Mr. Koberg.
Shellberg.
Jackass. PewDiePie ends the episode with a remark on American hospitals and getting upset over his bloodied up piece of shit New Balances. But before he can give his classic PewDiePie outro, a crazy homeless guy comes out and starts beating up the van because it almost ran him over.
Alright.
Get out of here! What the fuck? Get out!
And I'm gonna go and sleep for tomorrow. Because then we're doing... I don't even know. But as always, stay awesome, brothers.
What a beautiful first episode, truly. Really can't get much better than that. And we're on to episode 2.
How's it going? It's PewDiePie.
God, I love this man. Felix starts off on his adventure finding a note on a giant egg saying to return the egg to the mothership to stop the alien from spreading and to act quickly because one of his friends got captured. Far different from the first episode, and sadly no Kiki to boot. Felix gets in the van again with the director guy who looks kind of like Heihachi from Tekken, only low-key though.
The aliens captured one of my friends, but I didn't know I had friends.
Aw, come on, PewDiePie, don't say that, man.
Anthony from Smosh, we're good friends. Markiplier. If the aliens captured Marcia, and they implanted an alien baby inside her, would you raise it as your own?
What kind of question is that? Felix then gets dropped off at a porta potty that they label as the transporter. And the porta potty just teleports him and officially begins the episode. The entire set they set up for Felix is based off Alien Isolation, which again, they did a decent job with. They also just kind of got rid of the whole heartbeat gimmick this episode and for the entire rest of the season, which kind of removes the whole tension that was brought there in the first place. But in replacement, they gave Felix a health bar, which just is a still PNG of his face slapped on it. So great job, team. The mission they gave him this time around is self-destructing the ship and blowing up all the alien eggs to save humanity. This is the part they reveal the friend he has to save. How much did he pay you, Markiplier? You don't deserve this. Before Felix nukes the entire ship, his first goal is to free his friend Mark, which they give him 1 minute to do. So they give him this little robot grabber thing which can help him reach the wire cutters to free Mark. And the whole gimmick of this part is that every wrong wire that Felix cuts, it electrocutes Mark. He then frees him with the key that was quite literally right in front of him, but because of plot, PewDiePie didn't see that. Mark and Felix have to do the light puzzle that goes way too fast, but since my king Mark is a genius, he gets some of them down. For the puzzle to be completed, they need to put their hand on the door and recite the colors. Getting it wrong results in electric shock. They both end up failing and the game master literally just gives up and gives them a 2-color code. They complete it and they end up with a key card which will give them access to the next area. But before they can use it, they have to do another scare PewDiePie classic and dodge some lasers. And somehow PewDiePie almost dies by the end of this because he is left with just 2 HP. But that literally doesn't matter because they have to run away from this alien and run inside this inflatable hamster ball. And then PewDiePie just fucking hugs the alien. And that's the end of another banger from PewDiePie. Well, actually, there's one more segment where Nikki just jumps out and ambushes PewDiePie in the van.
Girlfriend, I know that, I get that, but I think I can make you happy too, or we could have a threesome.
Yes, PewDiePie. Don't mess this up. Well, and there she goes. Another banger in the books.
How's it going, bros? It's PewDiePie.
Never gets old. In this episode, same as the last, Felix has to put a bag over his head like a hostage just for him to get to his destination. They get out of the van and make Felix walk down this fence with the bag still on his head, except they just kidnap him again and drag him inside the set. So what the fuck was the whole point of this whole section? They hand Felix a doll covered in blood, and level 3 begins with the name Hello Timmy. Felix takes off his blindfold, finding himself in a room with blood everywhere. And the gimmick for this level so far is the little girl that he's talking to. Woman, girl, I don't know, but I think it's trying to sound like a kid. This thing is talking to Felix, telling him that his goal is to find her parents.
Looks like there was a fire here.
So, Detective Felix scans the room, coming to the brilliant deduction that there was a fire of some sort, except it didn't touch the TV, or the table, or the couch.
Sometimes the lights go out.
Why'd she say it like that? PewDiePie, just walk out the front door, man. She probably hasn't even played Tuber Simulator. The little girl explains the whole gimmick of the level. Every time the lights go out in the room, something changes, and Felix has to find the thing that changed when they turn back on. If he's right, he'll be safe and continue the mission, and if he's wrong, she'll be PewDiePie's friend forever, or some weirdo shit like that. The first change is baby heads appearing on the couch, which makes me wonder if there was just a guy sneaking through the room every time the lights went out. It happens again in another room, and of course Felix uses his photographic memory and gets both right while getting surprised by a snake. Then it happens again, except they hired a midget to attack PewDiePie. Is the right word midget? Is that offensive? What's the right word for midget? Little person. Cameraman dies as well, by the way. He just kind of takes a little nap on the floor. Then the fucking Conjuring family shows up and it just kind of kidnaps him. This is honestly some pretty cute stuff. I'm honestly kind of liking this.
The games are gonna get harder.
Yeah, I just shit my pants. Bro fished. Another beautiful ending that I hope doesn't end with him getting jumped by the tiny man with a snake. Oh, never mind.
I got you. I got you.
We're starting off strong with this one.
How's it going, bro? This is PewDiePie. Special parkour edition today, obviously.
You were gonna do the most exciting gameplay.
He's way too chipper for this. I'm half expecting them just to stab PewDiePie right now. Eggman tells Felix that his mission for today is to answer fan mail. And they take him to this crack den of a setup that convinces PewDiePie that he actually might not be doing anything crazy that day. Which, shocker, this isn't true because we still got 15 minutes left on the clock. Our young man Felix finishes reading one comment and then right after the power goes out. Besides the computer screen somehow. Just don't question it. A door opens up in a scare PewDiePie fashion, which means very scary, by the way. And a raspy voice starts speaking to him.
Go out into the hall, play the quiet game with me.
Oh my god.
You will find a helmet, a walkie, and a lantern. To win, you will have to stop your sound from screaming.
And level 4 begins named Time to Die, Mr. Pie. And the gimmick of this one is that if he screams above 80 decibels, he gets a strike, and if he gets 3 strikes, then he dies in real life. Or something, I don't know. Failing 2 levels also leads with the consequence of facing the quote-unquote ultimate trial. He goes through the maze and gets his first strike by some naked guy. And then he gets his second strike not even 10 seconds later. Good job, PewDiePie. Shortly after, he gets a 3rd strike, and as of writing this script and watching, I noticed something. This show is kind of boring. The only thing that keeps me entertained is PewDiePie's reactions. And if you weren't a PewDiePie fan or someone that knows who PewDiePie is, you wouldn't really give a shit. You can't see any props or people in this episode. It's just Felix frolicking down a dark hallway screaming the entire time. He continues on and stumbles upon his own grave. And since he took 3 strikes, he has to enter the casket where he, gets kidnapped once again into the next level. The set they take him to is a lot more visible, where he's surrounded by meat bags and he hears a woman screaming in the distance. What's with this show and tiny people? And of course, Felix is really scared of tiny people, so he gets all 3 strikes once again. He crawls through the tube while the little man chases him and he stops in a room that starts filling up with a green goblin's jizz. He wakes up in a blue room with the remains of a corpse on a medical gurney, which I'm assuming it's a special challenge they warned him about earlier. Felix picks up 2 medical tools with the goal of having to find a key inside one of the organs of the body. The catch of this minigame is that it's a lot like the Operation board game, so every time he hits a bone, it sends an electrical shock to his hands. And then dubstep just starts playing out of nowhere. I don't know what they're doing.
What? Okay,
He kind of just gives up using the tool and he uses his hands to find the key to get out. Felix is then given 15 seconds to find the right lock to use the key on and escape. Eggman is just snacking away on some pretzels, and I love this guy. I love Eggman.
Want a pretzel? What happened? Where'd you go?
Then he brings out the Suicide Squad because he clearly does not fuck with my boy Felix.
oh, no, come on. This is,
Okay, wait, I'm pretty sure I did it, all right? I'm pretty sure I saw. Please, can we? No, would you like a pretzel?
Yeah, this is probably the best part in the show. And level 4 is finally completed.
We'll see you hopefully in the next one. Bro for spy.
You can see the energy just slowly being drained away from this guy.
Hey, how's it going? It's PewDiePie. This gate doesn't open, so can't do it.
Now that he mentions it, he has been jumping over that fence every episode. This episode starts off with Eggman telling Felix that the last episode's audio got corrupted when he entered the slime coffin. And obviously Felix has his doubts, but he obviously still agrees.
There's no way I believe this shit, all right?
And instead of taking him hostage like an ISIS member like last time, they give him the goggles with the googly eyes, also known as the Googles. So we're definitely making upgrades in production.
Remove the Googles.
I'm incredibly proud of Mr. Producer here. They place Felix in this tiny room and he removes the Googles to start level 5. PewDiePie is greeted by middle-aged white woman number 4, welcoming him to the hotel.
Okay.
I sure hope no one else gets murdered.
I would have broken character right then and there. You gotta give respect to some of these actors. Felix's first mission is to find his room key, which is hidden under a hotel phone. He uses the room key where he ends up at the same place where he started, and he figures out that the entire place is a loop. And then she talks to him again like a Skyrim NPC, and I noticed something, that this episode is actually a lot better done and genuinely more interesting than most of the plots they have done so far. Felix figuring out a way to get out of the loop while also being harassed by this woman is actually kind of entertaining. And of course, PewDiePie finds Timmy while trying to get out, in which he finds another key just kind of lodged inside the doll. He uses the key and once again the loop repeats itself. And for this loop, Felix has to stick his hand down a trash bag full of super worms, mealworms, worms, I don't know, but he has a sneaking suspicion that the key is under the layer of worms. Felix digs through and eventually does find the key, and of course Felix can't leave that easily, so they deploy a tactical chainsaw man on his ass, which he narrowly escapes. The loop restarts once again where he finds himself in a very pristine and clean looking bathroom, and you guessed it, there's worms in the toilet bowl. Mr. Producer actually throws him a bone here with giving him a latex glove to dig through, and never mind, I spoke too soon. But hey, he gets it first try, so we're good. But you guys know the drill. The loop continues, except Felix just runs away from this chainsaw guy for a couple minutes, and you can kind of tell his gamer athleticism is catching up to him. He escapes, and Felix finally completes level 5. Timmy dies in this one.
Or are you just standing there?
Okay, that's it. Bye-bye.
Ah! I got you. Hey, what's up, bros? It's PewDiePie.
Let's go.
Even Mr. Producer is tired of this shit. Eggman reveals in the car ride that this level will be inspired by arcades. Now, with this kind of setting, he has infinite potential. Pac-Man, Frogger, Space Invaders, Dig Dug. Imagine PewDiePie has to run away from a guy who tries to kill him with air. But nah, let's throw that shit away because it's literally just a FNAF clone, which would have been cool if they got the location right. This ain't Freddy's Pizzeria. This isn't Freddy's. Anyways, PewDiePie removes the Googles, and he begins level 6, the ultimate hang. Felix sees the cameras, the set, and the 2 other people right next to him. And of course, it's gotta be MatPat. Rest in peace. Because MatPat and FNAF are practically synonymous at this point. What the f*** is Ego Raptor doing here? Felix now has MatPat and Game Grump, making the weirdest trio you'll probably ever see when it comes to YouTubers. But hey, at least the set is actually decent. They got moving doors, the fans, a giant flat screen TV, and the glowing buttons, just like the real Five Nights at Freddy's. And just like FNAF, they have to watch the animatronics on the camera, conserve energy, and close the doors when needed, with the end goal of surviving till 6 a.m. But that's actually not the end goal, you'll find out later. They've got 9 cameras, and they're gonna occasionally see the animatronic move, and it looks kinda goofy. Game Grump opens the door, and the bunny is just door camping that shit. And while watching this scene, I realized they only have one actual button for both doors. And if they close one door, they close both. Clearly, the budget cuts got to Mr. Producer or something, because this is ruining my PewDiePie immersion right now. And shortly after that, they completely drain the battery, leaving them completely exposed to the animatronic family. Which actually brings up an interesting game gimmick they made. They have 3 walkie-talkies right in front of them, which they haven't used up till now. Since they have no power, they need to find a spare power cell located somewhere in the arcade. So MatPat steps up to the challenge, taking one of the walkie-talkies with him. And during the whole Operation MatPat scene, I was actually entertained, marking one of the few non-boring parts of the show. Good job, MatPat.
Kangaroo in the distance.
Game Grump, why the f*** are you pointing at the screen like MatPat is gonna see? This is the same mother in my ranked games when I ask for comms. They spot the battery, and MatPat has to somehow get past the 3 animatronics that are literally right on him. He grabs the battery and then conveniently stalls enough time that the animatronic just scoops him up. MatPat, You sold. They drop the whole battery gimmick right after that, and PewDiePie now has to defeat the curse of the arcade by finding 2 tokens while Egoraptor directs him using the cameras. He spots the first token near the prize corner, which is surrounded by animatronics. He grabs the token and narrowly gets caught by the chicken. Game Grump then spots another token inside the claw machine, which is around the neck of one of the prizes. He gets inside the claw machine, and one of the animatronics spot him, in which he just bangs on the window and walks away. And as Felix is about to leave, he gets jumped by a tiny bear in the ball pit.
Just give me.
Sadly, and very unsurprisingly, Egoraptor dies right as PewDiePie is in the process of beating the curse. And for Felix to break the curse, he has to throw a ball into the glowing hoop while he rides a merry-go-round cart thingy. After Felix fails for 5 minutes, they just randomly start playing dubstep again.
No, backwards. No, not the music. I'm so bad.
Whose idea was this? I know it wasn't Mr. Producer because he seems more like a Smiths type of guy. In a twist, the fire alarm goes off and they cut the show early. Whether it was Felix sucking ass at throwing or there actually being a fire, no one actually knows. I lied, I do know. PewDiePie sucks so bad, so they made him watch Egoraptor hang himself. And then he pretends to start choking.
Get some help! I need some help!
They all have a good chuckle at the end from the good old Game Grump hijinks, which concludes level 6, which probably was the most entertaining episode so far.
How's it going, bros? It's PewDiePie.
Mr. Producer tells Felix that he has to visit another doctor to discuss the results of his medical test from the first episode. Felix also gets a personal security guard finally after the whole Nikki incident. On the car ride to the set, he starts talking about how much he loves PewDiePie and shit, but we all know no grown men watch PewDiePie, so I have a sneaking suspicion that he might be pulling a Nikki as well. They take him to the hospital with the googles on, of course, and level 7 begins. Felix opens the first door and sees a massive horde of mentally ill patients, with this level being a direct reference to Outlast, which is the best idea they've had so far for this show. PewDiePie meets Dr. Schwartz and he drags him to the back of this room because it's past his curfew, whatever that means. He handcuffs Felix to the bed and then is given the goal of getting his paper signed by Dr. Yates. And out of nowhere, some black guy just starts yelling at Felix, telling him his name is Sean. I love Sean. Did him dirty with that picture. He leaves the room and Felix has to sort through a bajillion keys to find the right one that'll uncuff him. And once he gets out, he meets this remote-controlled wheelchair called Mr. Chair. They only let the most creative minds on this set. Mr. Chair then tells PewDiePie to jump on in so he can take Felix to get his paper signed. There's this whole scene where he drives PewDiePie through the horde of ward patients, and it kind of reminded me of a on-wheels scare attraction from an amusement park. And this is honestly one of the few times where PewDiePie looks genuinely uncomfortable or scared. But honestly, this dude always looks uncomfortable. Felix arrives at the chapel, which looks run down and abandoned with chairs thrown everywhere, accompanied with flickering lights. Sean comes back apparently as Navi from Ocarina of Time now, because he tells PewDiePie he's gonna need the camera in the box. Yes, just like Outlast. And then Sean just leaves. I think he realized he was in Scare PewDiePie. Another really cool scene, they turn off the light and PewDiePie's only way of seeing is with the night vision camera he got earlier. With this kind of idea and setup, they quite literally have a goldmine of opportunity and how the whole thing could play out. But no, that's too hard. They just throw him back in the chair and he just records them like an 8-year-old with their first camcorder. Nonetheless, still one of the best scenes in the entire series, even if they did rip off Outlast. Felix reaches his location once again, searching for his medical file. He finds this locked box with a code that he gets first try with him guessing Sean, Dr. Schwartz's favorite patient. In the medical file, Felix just gets called mentally ill. It's probably because of his intro that he does every time. God, I love him. But he still needs that signature from Dr. Yates. The chair leads him to Nurse Annabelle, where he gets verbally abused for a couple seconds until she brings him to Dr. Yates. And by bring him to Dr. Yates, I mean she takes him out of the room and dies literally 4 seconds in. Felix's plot armor could only be rivaled to Ichigo from Bleach. A chase begins with the ill patients, and this honestly would have brought me on the edge of my seat if I could see anything else than a close-up shot of PewDiePie's face for 90% of it, which marks the end of level 7. But of course, there's a twist. A cop comes out telling Felix to sign some papers for his restraining order on Nikki. And security does what security does best and goes on a power trip telling the cop he can suck Felix's dick better than him or something, which makes Mr. Producer step in to get him off. And then they just fire Jeff. And they give him this black and white memorial video. I'm gonna miss him, man.
I'll see you in the next one.
That brofist doesn't feel the same without Jeff, man. Episode 8 is off to a banger because Jeff is already back. And Jeff hands him this safety whistle just in case he gets in some danger. Some cute shit, really. They drive over to the set where Mr. Producer explains he's going to be shot at tonight, but that's not what's important. Apparently, our beautiful queen, antagonist Nikki, posted a video about Felix online, glazing him just like old times.
Hi, Felix.
What the? Okay.
Is it weird that I think I'm your penguin?
I'm your penguin?
Isn't that nuts? Sweetest fish? How many could I fit in my mouth? Pangosculus? I'll show you real life.
PewDiePie's missing out, I think.
Yeah. That threat is the reason I've been outside your house the last couple of nights.
Woo! Let's go, Jeff. This got me in such a good mood. I made an I Love Jeff t-shirt, link in description. Felix gets on set and they start gearing him up for total war. And level 8 begins with a Call of Duty reference. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I think of scary, I don't really think of Call of Duty. It feels like they really just wanted to make a PewDiePie game show, but they were banged on the head that it had to be horror related because that's what PewDiePie got popular from. The mission they give Felix is sneaking into the enemy base and finding some sort of clue so that he can safely bring it back to his headquarters. And with that clue, he needs to decipher a code and make his big escape. He goes through the easy mode door with the same objective as before. And on easy mode, the enemies are on low alert according to PewDiePie's instructor. With all these Call of Duty references, you would expect for Felix just to be going nuts to butts, gunning motherfuckers down. But in reality, it's just Metal Gear Solid. He sneaks around, grabs the clue, and leaves. Felix fails a quiz question, meaning he has to go through the hard mode door.
No, there is no skunk.
Don't breathe.
I like how they actually give the NPCs in this level game dialogue so it feels like an actual video game. Anyways, Felix grabs the other clue and makes a run for it. Now with only one piece remaining, Felix has to answer one final question determining which difficulty he has to do. With the question being, what was the safe word he picked for the show?
Safe word? I think we should do a safe word.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Pineapples.
Okay, guys, we're sticking with pineapples.
Whew.
Feel safer now? Feel good?
Yeah, I'm glad we got a safe word. Bananas. Bananas.
He goes through the hard mode door and begins the level for the final piece of the puzzle, in which he had to hide in a box to not get caught. He makes the mad dash for it, and by mad dash, I mean crawl on the ground like a baby until he reached the exit door. Another PewDiePie W. And inside the case, he gets 2 airsoft pistols, with the mission of eliminating the enemy. Felix quite literally gets jumped by the soldiers in the next scene that have fully automatic paintball guns. Now, what the fuck is Felix supposed to do against them with 2 BB guns? You can also see the whistle on the UI. Imagine how much better this scene would be if he blowed the whistle and Jeff just comes out armed to the fucking teeth with grenades and a literal bazooka. And with just 2 HP remaining, we all know they didn't let PewDiePie die because that would be lame as fuck. So they give him this Rambo slow-mo scene where he kills all the last enemies without getting shot.
7.
Brings a tear to my eye, really.
Go to the green light. That's your extraction point. They're coming in behind you! They triggered the explosives! Run, run, run!
Yeah, fuck Squid Game, where's my Scare PewDiePie Season 2? I love this scene because it's just high-octane, nuts-to-butts action of him getting obliterated with confetti, which I unironically enjoyed. Thank you, Mr. Producer, which marks the end of level 8.
You're being very secret today.
Well,
there's only one game left on the list.
It was sadly not the last episode because we still got another Mr. Felix. Oh yeah, Smosh is in this. That's pretty cool. On the car ride there, they spike Felix's drink like any normal person would.
Felix, how's your coffee?
Well, I don't even know what's real about it.
And level 9 begins with him waking up in a grandma costume with him also being crippled. Felix reads the note in front of him, giving him the goals that are needed to complete the game. Find the key to escape, find the secret phrase, and to find himself. Oh yeah, he has amnesia in this. Very cool, Mr. Producer. He walks around finding portraits of himself and Marcia. Felix also gets narrated by Felix, which is a cool touch with the context of him having amnesia.
Go to your left, Felix. PewDiePie, you're crazy, man. Find the key, Felix.
What the fuck?
Naughty!
Okay.
Now you get down on the ground. Crawl around like a dog.
I can't.
Bark like a dog!
No.
Bark! Bark! Louder! Bark like a dog! Bark!
What the fuck? After the whole dominatrix PewDiePie whipping scene, he starts to scavenge through some raw meat to find his next clue. The code he gets is "The Bro Lives." And shortly after, he gets taken to a room full of cult members that just start spinning him around in circles, then force him to play Ouija board.
Well, I think I can do it. I feel pretty confident. Yes. Oh shit, what the What? Okay. Fine. Okay, there you go. Are you happy?
Mr. Chair thankfully makes a return cameo from the Outlast episode just for him to betray PewDiePie 20 seconds later.
Now I need you to get the hell off of me. Up the stairs.
All right, thanks for the ride, dude.
Felix enters a room full of statues, but the catch is that some of the statues are actually scare actors. He gets groped once or twice until he stumbles upon an army of dolls. An army of dolls that have a blow-up sex doll. Very nice, Mr. Producer. But with this doll found, he completes his other goal of finding himself. Along with finding the doll, there's another him mimicking his moves in the mirror, which dies seconds later. I'm sensing a trend here. The cult members return, finally revealing their true identities. Smosh.
Real safe word.
I don't know it.
Safe word. Tell me your real safe word. Let me know.
I like to think Felix is actually enjoying this and is using the wrong safe word on purpose.
How are you feeling?
Well, I liked it.
What I say. And that marks the supposed ending of Scare PewDiePie. But like I said before, we still have one more episode left. I know. Calm your excitement. We're gonna get right into it.
And as always, bros, stay awesome. I feel like I gotta go for this one.
Thank you, Felix.
How's it going, bros?
I'm gonna miss him when he's gone. They open this episode up at a Scare PewDiePie rap party, celebrating the completion of Scare PewDiePie's filming. And Mr. Producer had a little too much to drink, and it's just a little awkward. Really awkward. Felix does a recap of every episode and every crazy thing he did on set. It's really cute seeing this montage of him just screaming.
Jeff, do you want to kiss it?
Sure.
No, you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. I'm sorry.
PewDiePie, you dick. You can see the hurt in his eyes. Felix enters the party like the frat god that he is and just starts dapping people left and right. He has an awkward interaction with Mr. Producer. Then Felix goes on stage to make his big speech, which gets interrupted by 14 different montages because they really need to complete that runtime. Mr. Producer joins PewDiePie on the speech just for him to absolutely bomb it.
Where's my van crew? How many hours do we stay in the van?
Too many?
Too many. Get the fuck off. And I just want to say this road has been tough, and it's like when it's just hard.
I know it's acting, but this really hurts to watch. But of course, Nikki makes her great return after getting kicked off twice, and it goes exactly how you would expect.
Don't move any further!
This, in fact, might be Scare PewDiePie. In all seriousness, this really shows how much YouTube changed as a platform since then. If you tried this shit now, you would be demonetized and then terminated 4 milliseconds after uploading the fucking video. And the moment she supposedly dies, and I'm not joking when I say this, they make another black and white montage of Nikki's moments in the show.
This is like the job of my life. You have the best hair I've ever seen. You're perfect. You're like a unicorn.
I love you! This will not be the end!
The cops show up almost immediately, which is extremely unrealistic in LA. They would probably put you on hold for 12 minutes first, then maybe think of sending you help. I would know, because Hammerfell Inc. is located in Los Angeles. Even Sven rolls up and he tries to find a heartbeat on her ass and then just pronounces her dead.
I'm not going anywhere.
No.
Because I'm fine. And I'm an actress.
I bet y'all weren't expecting that one. They do this really cool segment revealing all the actors and giving them credit for their part in hugging Felix. Another really cute scene from Scare PewDiePie. Mr. Producer also lied to us, revealing he isn't even Mr. Producer. The real Mr. Producer is this Joe Schmo named Kevin Healy, and Mr. Producer's real name is just Dave. Don't worry, I'm just as disappointed as you, Felix. Then they just start dancing.
And as always, stay awesome.
Brofist. And that's sadly the end of Scare PewDiePie. Sadly is a strong word though. I can see why this show was Skybound's worst rated. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If I wasn't a fan of PewDiePie, I wouldn't give a fuck. Which is why I don't give a fuck. You really, really have to be a fan of YouTubers and just YouTube in general to even consider liking this show. I love MatPat, Ego Raptor, and Markiplier, but try showing this to your parents and they'd probably fall asleep mid-episode. For a show called Scare PewDiePie, it wasn't very scary for PewDiePie. Yeah, I've seen a lot of critics say that the show wasn't scary, which I don't think was the intention of the team. Their whole goal was to scare PewDiePie, not us. And in turn, we get enjoyment from Felix pissing and coming while screaming. But I don't even think PewDiePie was scared half the time, just mildly uncomfortable. And if it wasn't him being uncomfortable, it was him just participating in a fucking game show. My theory behind this was that they really just wanted a YouTuber game show with PewDiePie being the main star. But for some reason, some bumblefuck at corporate really just wanted a show about scaring PewDiePie because that's literally what he's known for. And the closer you look, the more I think my theory on this is correct. I mean, besides the whole Call of Duty episode, you have the whole alien puzzle as well, where the scariest he got was worms and a guy in an alien costume yelling, accompanied with a health bar that was completely useless. And don't forget, there was guests that did nothing besides die in scripted ways that weren't even that scary. Unless you call MatPat getting hugged by a teddy bear scary. This is all fun stuff, but this wasn't scaring PewDiePie. Honestly, I think he got happy when MatPat got swooped up by that animatronic. And you're probably yelling at your screen saying it's a horror comedy. I don't know about you guys, but the only person laughing was PewDiePie and then me when Nikki got gunned down. It's a reality show missing the soul of one. If you replace PewDiePie with anyone else, God forbid they remove my Swedish prince, nothing about this show would drastically change if PewDiePie wasn't there. This easily could have been Scare Markiplier, Scare Jacksepticeye, Scare EDP445, possibly with a woman that's of age. You guys get the point. There's nothing that really hooks me besides PewDiePie. I think PewDiePie has a great personality for a reality TV show, but not even his presence can make up for the weak parts of the show. The Nikki and Jeff being weird subplots were interesting, but didn't really add anything to the show until the very end of some episodes. And listen, I love Jeff as much as the next guy, but this motherfucker is the most irrelevant dude in the show. All these problems that exist are the cause of YouTube trying to push out their brand new subscription service that no one wanted, YouTube Red. And what's a better way of getting people to subscribe by getting the biggest guy on the platform at the time to do their own show? This show feels so corporate yet so cheap. The camera work feels like shit because I can see Felix's boogers in 4K half the time. The games that they set up also feel incredibly cheap and half the time are just scripted, which is actually true, and I'll get to that later. Everyone has to take into mind while watching this show is that this literally cost money to watch. To watch Scare PewDiePie, you had to pay $10 a month back then, just like Netflix, for Scare PewDiePie and no ads. Now personally, if I paid $10 a month for this, I would be crying in my pillow. The way they wanted to sell this show is that it's supposed to feel like YouTube, transparent and open, but the way they executed it felt like it was too open. You see the behind the scenes at all times, the actors, the before and after, the cameramen. The only person that doesn't know what's happening partially is PewDiePie. And worst of all, this show is so freaking boring. I'm a person that finds a map changing colors fun, so you know I don't have attention issues, but oh my god, I was bouncing my leg in desperation for longer than what is healthy for a human. Every second felt like a trudge through the swamp besides the few and far between funny parts. And I'm gonna be honest guys, the reason this video took so long to make is because I struggled to even finish the fucking show. I couldn't enjoy a show about scaring a person that knew they were going to be scared beforehand. See, if PewDiePie personally created this, or just a small team that wasn't funded, I'd understand, but YouTube itself literally advertised and funded this. The massive company that is YouTube should be able to make something better than this. PewDiePie deserved better, and it's not his fault for making such a boring show because he was completely left out of the creative process, which is the problem when you try to make a reality show made just for him. In the end, you can tell PewDiePie put in that work, and so did the other people working on this show. They had a passion, and you can see it shine through the parts that YouTube grimed up. And through it all, they got greenlit for a second season, and we're gonna watch it right now. Play that shit. Wait, it never came out. Why? Oh! Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but the sole reason season 2 was never finished was because PewDiePie paid some guys on Fiverr to say subscribe to Keemstar. So first mistake right there. Just for those same guys to write on a piece of paper a maybe very slightly offensive message that I won't say because I really don't want to get demonetized, saying death to a certain group of people that were popular in the early 40s. Was this completely PewDiePie's fault? Of course it was. Are you stupid? This man single-handedly caused the first ever YouTube adpocalypse, which is now forever written in history on the YouTube wiki. The media ate this shit up, pumping out PewDiePie content like there was no tomorrow, and for good reason. Why in the fucking would you think this would pan out well, especially being the king of YouTube? To be fair, it was definitely a different time back then, and it was just an edgy joke, but Felix, you were the face of YouTube at the time. No matter how much internet clout you had back then, nothing could make this look appealing to every major company advertising on YouTube. But honestly, the past is in the past, right? Maybe it's time to release season 2. Nope, the whole thing is actually finished, but they just won't release it. Felix himself even confirmed it, saying that it was finished and all it needed was just editing. Felix really took on that triple whammy, losing the show, losing respect of a lot of people, and making advertisers run off the site. Bro, Fish, wait, no, bro fish yet, because there's actually a quadruple whammy, because he said to go subscribe to Keemstar, if you guys even remember me saying that. And the worst part is, I really think YouTube has some sort of gripe against Felix in a way. If you guys remember, Logan Paul and the Forest incident happened and caused the second adpocalypse, and he got a sequel to his shitty thinning movie. So what's the big deal? Why does Felix not get his show released because some edgy joke that he made? But Logan Paul somehow walks off scot-free with some extra dollars in his pocket. And this was an issue that was even acknowledged by PewDiePie. He tried to get them to release it, and he tried to find the reason to why he was being treated in such an unfair way. And the thing we shouldn't be doing is comparing these two incidents in a controversial sense. Rather, who is it hurting more? Personally, financially, and socially. And PewDiePie would be taking the cake here with the former YouTube CEO literally having a Jewish background. But this is all speculation. YouTube's response was basically, well, the team worked hard, so we have to release it, which is a slap in the face to the scared PewDiePie team. I guess their work could never compare to Logan's passionate performance. There's definitely either favoritism or some sort of bias here, but this is up to your own interpretation. Now, do we have anything from season 2? Is there any information out that's actually interesting? And the answer is most definitely yes, and honestly, more behind the scenes information came out about season 2 than season 1, and I enjoyed searching and learning all this more than actually watching the show. And knowing what I know now, I really wish season 2 came out, and this season sounded so much more fleshed out and fun than season 1. So you know what that means, fellas? That means it's time to sign a useless petition on change.org to make them release season 2, or me and the YouTube audience will riot in the streets of YouTube HQ for Scare PewDiePie season 2. I'm going to try and format all the season 2 info the best I can, because all this information is scattered around like Exodia from Yu-Gi-Oh! But guess what? I'm the knight from fucking Hammerfell, and I'm going to deliver all this delicious info on a silver platter just for you. Let's first tackle the biggest video of the bunch that has all the behind the scenes footage of Scare PewDiePie 2, or from now on we're going to call it Scare PewDiePie Multiplayer. The first visual you're going to see when you try to find anything related to Scare PewDiePie Multiplayer is this poster with Jacksepticeye and Felix staring each other down with flames in the back. Off rip, they're already making major improvements with how the narrative is written. I think one of the things lacking from the original Scare PewDiePie was the fact that there was no villain to latch onto throughout the whole series. Nikki showed up 3 times max, and Jeff was just a nothing burger of a plotline. Making Jack the antagonist was a great move just for the fact that he was a recognizable YouTuber. On the PewDiePie archive channel, you can find an 18-minute behind the scenes video that covers most of what they had in store for season 2. There's a scene that shows the brand new Mr. Producer, implying that David Storrs got the boot, which is confirmed if you look at the cast information on IMDb. There's also just a lot of cute scenes of Felix getting ready on set with the rest of the cast.
Oh, there's an arrow. Okay, I'll go this way. This seems... Have anyone tested this? This does not seem safe.
This is $20 to fuck with Felix's shirt. Sweet.
What do you want to draw on it?
No, put like a little dick hanging down just from the flag. Like
Just
the,
like a tiny
flag stick. And on the back put I heart Michael.
Okay.
Because he hates Michael.
Oh, you want to wear your little shirt? Want to keep wearing it?
PewDiePie, how was it?
That was horrible.
Looking at a lot of these scenes and just seeing them have fun on set really just grinds my gears when I think about YouTube just canceling the whole thing, when the only thing that was left was just editing. And I know, usually seeing these behind the scenes happy moments means nothing with the stuff that happens behind closed doors in most studios, but still. There's another scene with PewDiePie in a white jumpsuit completely drenched in blood, and then there's another instance of them just messing around with a certain symbol. I feel like this was foreshadowing somehow. Ethan Klein, Mr. H3H3, also tells a story about an earwig entering his ear without consent, and I'll just play the whole clip here.
I was doing the episode with Felix on Scare PewDiePie 2. There was a scene I was stuck on a roof, and they were setting up these shots. I was up there for like 2 hours while they were getting ready. That's fine. I had an earwig in my ear. It's a wireless ear mic so that the producers are gonna be like, hey, do this, right? And I was standing up there and the earwigs stopped working. It was getting staticky. So I tried to take it out. It didn't come out. I couldn't get this earwig out of my ear. And I started panicking. I was freaking out. And I'm trying to dig this earwig out of my ear, and it's going in deeper. Ooh. It starts to hurt. It feels like it's bleeding. I'm like legitimately freaking out. And I'm like, fuck it. I need to say something. I don't want to ruin this shoot. But I'm panicking. I'm like, yo, dude, can you call a producer? I'm having a panic attack. And they're like, hey, I just do the pyrotechnics. It's not my job.
Yeah.
And I was like, help me. They literally were like, what? Not my.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
I was also there, and I was under Ethan. Like, it was like a little house, and he was on the roof, and I was inside, and I could hear him, and I was like, someone do something.
So it's just me and her, and I'm like, Ela, and I'm talking to her.
Yeah.
She's downstairs in the building, and I'm like, I'm freaking out. What do I do? Yeah. By the way, I was labbed up, and I had rapport with the sound guy. We goofed around a little bit before I climbed up to my ultimate demise on top of that roof. And I started talking to the mic out of desperation, and I was like, please send help. I know you can hear me laugh, guy. I'm talking to you. You're my only hope. Nobody can.
They did not give a f about Ethan. And there's just a bunch more compilations of the crew just doing weird shit. And finally, there's some cool stuff where they're showing off the set that is Sunset Riders inspired, and it also has Anthony Padilla as one of the guests. And there's this one scene where Felix is revealing one of the themes of the episodes being related to Uncharted, and the guest being Loser. In the video, they show off some photos of Felix in a yandere schoolgirl outfit, which would have been such an interesting episode to have in season 2, so just please sign that petition, guys. I need to see this episode, man. And here's the clip that's confirming that Jack is the villain of Scare PewDiePie multiplayer, along with him doing some kung fu and shit.
Probably not supposed to say this, but Jacksepticeye is sort of a villain of the show. And he flew in the last couple of days to shoot some trailer stuff with me. We got to do some kung fu moves. We got to ride a motorcycle. And it's just awesome. It was so much fun. I worked every single day that week, but it was totally worth it. And in the finale, we kind of went head to head. In the end, we were both kind of up on this stage in front of everyone that worked on the show, and it was just a really, really awesome moment. So memorable for me. Don't want to spoil anything, but I was just really happy Jack was there, and it was cool to share that moment with him. I'm so excited for you guys to watch these.
Felix also talks about guests flying over on set, which is one of the key differences from the first season, was that there was going to be a new guest every episode, rather there being maybe a guest in some of them. A much better change to the show, spicing it up with YouTube stars that everyone loves. And thank God Mark made a return, except he was gobbling down on some pig testicles, so thank you, Mark, really, for being the GOAT. And here's some more pictures of Felix and Jack on set. Last clip from this video, which brings up another issue with Scare PewDiePie.
I really love doing bigger shows and stuff like that. The problem is I don't have time for it.
That right there. Felix during this time was overworked and tired, trying to keep up with making enjoyable content, filming a show, and keeping his personality always on full blast while doing this far away from home. All these factors finally broke the camel's back, and he let it out on a video that he uploaded mid-shoot for Scare PewDiePie multiplayer.
I feel really sad. I really feel down right now. Because I realized last night that I can't keep doing the vlogs. I think I have a pretty high tolerance of stress, but it just got worse. And I talked about this in the vlog. It just got worse when I came here. It's just been so stressful. I'm doing the show, I'm doing the daily vlogs, doing Rebel Mode stuff, and it's just been too much. And I can deal with it. Like, it's just another 10 days, right? Brad and Michael, everyone is just stressed out over the vlogs, and I think the fun disappeared somewhere. And it's like, if it's forced and not fun, then what's the point of continuing? I'm really sorry that if you expected more. I'm really sorry I'm in this situation. It really sucks for me. I've always put YouTube first. Always. Even if I'm working on other projects, it doesn't matter. The videos goes first. You guys come first. That's my main thing. But I can't do that while I'm here. Because I have to do the show. And I have to do all these other things. And keeping the vlogs up, it's just impossible at this point. I wish I could just make my normal videos again. I wish I was home. I miss my pugs, but I'm here for another week, and I don't know how I'm gonna keep doing the vlogs. I just need to finish what I'm doing here in LA, I need to put myself first. This time.
You can tell the stress was getting to him, and probably the saddest you'll ever see Felix. He came back 8 days later talking about his excitement for Scare PewDiePie and what kind of scenes they filmed with Jack, along with all the fun stuff they did on set. But sadly, we never got to see this fully realized. There's this one archived PewDiePie livestream where he talks about one of the shoots from Scare PewDiePie multiplayer, proving what I said earlier about it being scripted and how the rules got more and more strict.
No, I can say the guest. It was Jack's films. He was a guest. It's such a shame. I feel so bad they came in and did this whole day shoot with me, and then it just never came out. Season 2 was all based on video games, so every episode was based on a different game. And this one was a bit weird. I can't remember which game exactly, but it was kind of like skyscraper related game. This episode. And so we dressed up in these really cool suits, and it started off with me having to walk off a skyscraper, and then Jack called me on the walkie-talkie while I was doing it, and he was roasting me. But it was really funny because I was so aware of how things were shot during the... Like, I understood... I didn't like to play along with a lot of the fabricated parts of the show. There was one bit where Jack was supposed to roast me, and it was so obvious, like, the people in the microphone to Jack told Jack they were feeding him lines. So I called him out on it while I was hanging out. It was really fucking funny. I think Jack didn't like it either. Like, he probably just wanted to talk to me normally, too. But I realized I became such a fucking prick. Because there's all this, there were all these rules on set, and like, they didn't want... I said this before, but they didn't want me to meet any of the guests. Which I understand, because they wanted the surprise of, oh, look who the guest is. But it just became really tiresome and boring, because it's like, we're gonna be excited about seeing each other anyway. We don't need to capture that on camera. So I would always just skip it and hang out anyway at the end. So there was examples of that, and then there was one bit of this shoot where I needed to solve a puzzle. I need to open this little trap door. Instead of solving the puzzle, I just kicked it in. I realized I was really being kind of a prick, but I thought it was funny, and it was really funny. But the thing was, like, they were just like, no. So they had to rebuild. I didn't know they would do this. So they had to rebuild the trapdoor. And then I had to fake solve the puzzle. And I think in the end, they got really tired of me. Because I was supposed to do, like, this course at the end of it. There was always, like, a big course in the end that I had to pass through. I had to pass through these wires of electricity. But whatever they put in that electric wire hurt like crazy. That was one of the episodes. We shot the whole thing. Everyone keeps asking me, like, why don't you just ask YouTube? And I have many times, but I feel like at this point, I just need to own up and be like, yeah, okay, I fucked up.
PewDiePie actually got into legal trouble with YouTube after tweeting on March 10th of 2017 that he was going to leak the first episode of Scare PewDiePie multiplayer if the tweet got over 100,000 retweets. Now, this obviously didn't happen, but he actually did release a fake first episode where it's just a Jacksepticeye cardboard cutout attacking Felix. Honestly, way more enjoyable than Time to Die Mr. Pie, where it's just... Birdabo was a vlog series that was created by Felix while doing the shooting for Scare PewDiePie multiplayer, and these vlogs are a bunch of nothing burgers to the naked eye, but since we're Scare PewDiePie experts, we have a keener eye for details. In the Birdabo vlog series, you can see some of PewDiePie's friends that were going to make a guest appearance for the show, and thank you to the fandom wiki for gathering most of this information so I'd have to go through each of these with a fine comb. In his second Birdabo vlog, it shows some behind the scenes in Markiplier's friend Tyler Sheed, along with Markiplier himself. In the fourth episode of Birdabo, it shows they did a Scare PewDiePie episode with Ethan and Gila Klein of H3H3, which is where he got the panic attack story that he retold on his podcast. In the sixth Birdabo vlog, PewDiePie gets covered in literal shit, and the guest is supposedly Cinnamon Toast Ken. Jump to the ninth Birdabo vlog, the guest this time around is Captain Sparkles. In the vlog, Jordan is in a turkey suit, but a guy named Jay Lawrence, who worked with Maker Studios, shows a picture of what seems the two covered in food, and the episode was based off the game Overcooked, which again, really fun idea. I would have loved to see this, but they need to change the name to something other than Scare PewDiePie when half the time they're not even trying to scare the guy. In the 11th 11th episode of Birdabo, the guest of the episode is Anthony Padilla wearing Mexican bandit-like clothing based off the game Sunset Riders, which I showed earlier in the video. And in the 13th episode of Birdabo, PewDiePie says that this episode of Scare PewDiePie would feature Luzu, would be set in prison and be based off the game Uncharted, which I also mentioned previously. Jessica Negri was supposedly going to be one of the guests as well, dressing up as a yandere with Felix. And there's a couple of posts I could not find that had hashtag #KickThePJ, leading to the assumption that he was going to be one of the guests as well. Sadly, that's the end of the guest appearance sneak peeks we have from Birdabo. As I said before, PewDiePie had to drop this series from the amount of workload he was enduring while filming. And I think that's all the information I have on season 2. After finishing this video, I had this feeling of climbing a mountain wash over me. The countless hours of me jittering in my seat, waiting for the episode to end. The endless hours I spent staring at my script, typing nothing as drool leaked from my mouth. It made me realize something. I actually don't dislike PewDiePie. Even after the many mistakes this guy has done and things I found out about him, I still want season 2 to come out. I want to see if season 2 was really going to be the banger Felix makes it out to be, or if it was just as brain-numbing as the first one. I deserve to see this. You deserve to see this. Felix deserves to see this. So please, YouTube, I will send you $12 worth of ad revenue just for you guys to release the footage. And just because I'm feeling so nice, I'll even edit the whole thing myself. You can see the blood, sweat, tears, and passion from the team and PewDiePie himself. And it's nowhere close to fair that Logan got his shitty movie sequel and PewDiePie doesn't get his second season. Unfair justice in the YouTube scene is not rare, but it shouldn't have to be this way. This ancient lost artifact won't be forgotten with fans all across the globe, and hopefully this video bringing more awareness to the series. Sadly, Scare PewDiePie multiplayer is considered lost media, so maybe in the future you're going to see it on some shitty iceberg content farm video where they copy and paste their script from a Reddit forum. This video is the longest and hardest video I've ever made from the research, the painful watching of the show, and the editing, and the script writing. If you watched all the way till the end, I appreciate you, and you should like and subscribe because PewDiePie told me if you did, he would give you a bro fist. Please, YouTube, please release season 2. Sign that petition, guys, please!
Thanks for staying awesome, bros. Here's your bro face. Bye.
Activate.